So hello guys, I'm Shank and you're watching me on Stan Creates YouTube channel, and today we are going to see how can we create this visually appealing architectural graphic using Photoshop, and all the resources used in this video will be linked down below in the description, plus the complete file which I have created in this video will also be linked down in the description. So let's just jump right into Photoshop. Okay, so we are into Photoshop guys. So let's start by importing the render. This render will be linked down below in the description, so you can practice it with this render. Okay, so we have directly dragged and dropped it into the Photoshop, and starting with, we are just going to clean up this render, and then we're going to proceed further. So yeah, by the way guys, this render was not this model was actually not made by me. It was made by someone else. I downloaded it off the 3D warehouse model from the SketchUp. Although there were a few changes which were made by me according to my liking, and then I took out the render of it. So yeah, you can download the original model from the description via the link. Also, you can download this particular render which I created using that model. So what I'm doing initially here is, I just don't want the extra grass that was there in the background, and there is this part in the front which will not be needed for the graphic. So what I am doing here is, I am just creating a selection here and deleting that part. Before deleting, make sure you rasterize your layer, because if your layer is not rasterized, you won't be able to delete it. So just make sure your layer is rasterized. So now what I'm basically doing is, I am recreating these missing parts. I want both of these corners to be there, because I obviously don't want my plane to just cut off anywhere. Okay, so what we are basically doing is, we are creating here a plane which will be floating, just like the image I showed you earlier. So yeah, to do that, I'm simply just creating a selection of the empty part and duplicating the existing texture and just moving it. Okay, so the road is created. Now let's recreate the grass. We're simply going to move the selection. We'll press Ctrl J to duplicate, and we'll move the grass. Let's just recreate this corner. We'll do the same thing. We're going to select the missing area with the lasso tool. We're going to move the selection to the texture we want to duplicate, and we'll duplicate it. We'll move the texture now. Same thing here. We're going to create a selection here of this. We'll press Ctrl J here. We will move this, and obviously we have created a little extra selection. We're going to adjust it according to our needs. Then we're going to erase the extra part. So now we're going to merge these all as a single layer. Okay, so now we have one singular plane as a 3D object here. So now we will start working to actually create the graphic. Okay, so starting with, we're going to add the depth in this plane. Okay, this is just a plane. We're going to add the height of this plane. Okay, so let's start with that. Okay, so let's fill this in with a solid color. We'll choose a light gray. another light brown, I'll say. Okay, we can move it a bit up. Okay, now we'll create another selection right here. We'll add a darker tone of the color we added before. Okay, so we have added these two colors. We can also add a little texture in it with the help of layer styles window. We're going to the pattern overlay, and here I'm adding a concrete texture in here. Okay, so now we have successfully added the depth which was missing earlier, and now we'll start adding the sky. Okay, so I have downloaded the sky from unsplash.com. You can download it from the link below, or you can use any image you want. So let's just create a circle here. Obviously circle is just a shape we're using here. You can use any shape you want. Now we're going to erase this bottom part here, just like that. So our sky is just above our ground and not below it. Okay, so now let's add a little life to our drawing. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a bit of trees and a bit of humans to actually add some life to our drawing. Whenever you put anything on your drawing, make sure you try and scale it to an appropriate scale so it actually looks good. Okay, so what we are doing here is we have scaled our drawing according to the reference of our cycle which is in the model. Okay, because this drawing is completely in perspective, so you need to take the references from near the place you are putting a human. Okay, so now let's add some trees. Let's add some organic shaped trees. We can add them right here. Also make sure to scale your trees, because scaling trees is also very important. Okay, so we added trees here, and let's add another tree right here in front of our building. Let's scale it down now. So yeah, this is the final piece, as you all can see, and this is just a basic outline what you can do, what tools you can use to create this effect. But obviously you are free yourself. You can try exploring different tools, you can try exploring different ideas, you can try exploring different techniques, which will definitely yield you maybe better results, maybe little different results. So yeah, go ahead,